What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be talking about if a new Edge Mustang is still worth it in 2024. Now if you clicked on this video, either you're in the market for a new Edge or maybe you already own one, you just kind of want to see my thoughts on it or whatever. I will go ahead and start by showing my car. So obviously if you are new here, this is my 2001 Mustang GT. This is the 4.6 2-valve. I don't have anything that's like really crazy that's done to it, but I have done plenty of stuff and it's a really just simple and clean build. And this is where a lot of people actually don't like these cars just because they think the interior is really outdated. I have done a few things like a different steering wheel, shift knob, and some different pedals and stuff here and there to make the interior look a lot better than what it came from factory. So the new Edge Mustangs actually came from the years of 99 to 04. There's a lot of different models of them. Now they had the 99 to 01 Cobra and the 03 04 Cobra that everybody knows of a Terminator. And then they also had the 2 valves. They had Bullets, which is still a 2 valve. They had Mach 1s, which is a naturally aspirated 4 valve. And then they also had the Celines, which is a 2 valve. And then they also had the V6s. I might be missing one, I'm not completely sure because there's so many different variations of a new Edge. But the big question is it still worth it in 2024 compared to maybe a newer car or a newer Mustang or different cars like a Camaro or something that's kind of in these price ranges. Now, I will start off by saying that if you want one, you better act kind of quick because these prices are going up and up, and so much that I was actually considering selling this car at one point just because I knew that I would get a pretty penny for it. You can usually find a clean one anywhere from like 3 to like 10K depending on what your budget is and what kind of stuff is already done to it and everything. Now that is going for a 2 valve motor or a 2 valve, so like you could probably find the Bullets or a 2 valve in that price range. Now if you're looking at the Celines, it's going to go up a little more. Same with the Cobras. Those are getting ridiculous nowadays. Those are like 30 to 40K for a very clean one with low miles. Now this car, whenever I bought it 4 years ago, I picked it up with 105,000 miles and I actually bought it for $4,200. Now that was a really good deal. There was nothing done to it. It was a one owner car, and whenever I bought it, it was automatic and completely stock. Obviously, I've done a lot of different stuff like manual swapping it and throwing a whole bunch of parts on it. And that is one good thing about this platform is that since they've been out for so long, there is a lot of different items that you can get for it. And there's a lot of people that sell and make parts for this car. Another good thing is the fact that they aren't gonna really break the bank a lot. Now, a lot of parts for this car is really cheap. Now, if you just take it for instance, don't pay attention to the condensated headlight. New Edges do that really bad. It's just the seals, which I know there's a lot of people that fix stuff out there. But for instance, these headlights, they only cost about like $100. And you got the chin spoiler, which I think, don't quote me on this, it's like around 70 or so. But all in all, this whole front end, just headlights, the grill delete, and the chin spoiler, I would say I probably got a total of like $200 to $300 in this front end. So it's definitely a lot better than a new Mustang. If I was wanting to make like a really cool front end on like an S550, I would probably be spending, if I was wanting like nice parts, would be somewhere around like $600 probably just for like a grill delete, or another like $400 just for a lip. A lot of people don't like these cars just because they are pretty slow for what they are. But you gotta think these cars are back from 99 to 04. I will say if you are in the market to buy a fast car, these could be a really good option. And hear me out whenever I say this, it's not because these engines are like the best or anything, but it's because they're so light and they're easy to do a motor swap in or even build the 2 valve. I don't know the exact weight of my car. I think it's somewhere around like 3,300 pounds, but that's pretty light compared to a new Mustang. Now, a new Mustang I think is like 36 to like 4,000. I don't really know, so don't quote me on it, but it's definitely a lot heavier than this. Obviously, it's because it's bulkier, it's got a lot more technology, it's got a lot more options and everything, and obviously the motor, I would assume, is probably heavier. Take, for instance, if you bought a car like this, and then you threw a Coyote motor in it that already makes like close to 400, and then those blocks, I mean, depending on which block you have, they can hold a lot more power than these cars can. So obviously, if you was to throw a boost at it or something, say you had 600-700 horsepower in this car, in this platform, I mean, that's gonna eat. There's a lot of people that do actually do that, and there's a lot of people that beat the new Coyotes to this day with a new Edge that has a different motor or even a built motor. So if you want a fun, light car that you could swap and do all that stuff to, and you could probably get away with only dumping 15 to 20K in, just all out with buying the car and the motor and doing all this stuff. I mean, also that's on the cheaper side, but you could probably get away with spending close to $20,000, give or take, and you could have an all-around really fun street car. Now, the only downside that I think that these cars really have is obviously since they're made from 99 to 04, the comfortability of them isn't necessarily the best, but it's an old car, it's kind of what you expect. Now, if I'm going to like Mustang Week, which is like 4 hours away from me, I don't typically love the drive just because it is bumpy and it does kind of suck just riding this thing because it is a smaller car. It's a lot smaller than new Mustangs, but all in all, I don't hate it. It's just, it's not as comfy as maybe a new Mustang with like heated cooled seats and Apple CarPlay, all that type of stuff. But that's also kind of what makes these cars so special is that you get that really raw feeling, and I personally like that feeling. I mean, yes, I do want a new Mustang, but I also love the feeling of being able to hop in something like this and feeling every bump in the road, like really just feeling like you're like connected with the car. Now, if you was wanting to buy one of these and throw some boost at it, these motors can hold up to 450 horsepower, and that's with like completely stock block. And now if you was wanting to boost the 2-valve, you could easily throw some like Coyote rods in there and then some nice pistons and cams, and then you could easily be making 750 or so. Now that's going to be really good with how light this car is. My overall goal with the car is, if my mind doesn't change, I mean, I really do like it this way, but at the same time, if I could have just like an all-out, like really sick car, my ultimate dream new Edge would be having a Coyote swap paired with like a T56 in there. I think that would absolutely eat, and it'd be a really fun street car. I would love to do a Terminator swap, but those drivetrains are so expensive, and you can get away with doing a Coyote way cheaper. Now, if I had like a Coyote with some boost and a different transmission, I would have absolutely so much fun in this car. And I have so much fun in it right now. I mean, it only makes around 250 horsepower, give or take. I really don't know for sure because I have done a lot of stuff since I've had a dynoed last time. Whenever I did have the car dynoed, all that it had was a different intake manifold and then some gears, and then it was tuned. And it actually made 239 horsepower, which is very impressive for a close to stock new Edge. Now it does have like intake, exhaust, and a lot of different stuff on it, but I don't know exactly what it would make right now. I will say it does get up and go for what it is. Is it the fastest thing out there? No. So I think that if you are looking for a car that maybe won't break the bank and you could probably build on a pretty decent budget, I would definitely recommend a new Edge. Especially, I mean, I think that they are one of the best looking Mustangs, and I might be a little bit biased, but I do think that they look extremely good and they sound extremely good. No, they're not the fastest, but I mean, that's okay because, you know, you're always gonna have somebody that's way faster on the street. Unless you're just trying to build a full-on absolute race car, I mean, I would probably swap it with something, but I personally don't think that they are that bad. That's mainly just because of how cheap they are. You got cheap parts, and I don't know, I mean, it's just, there's really nothing that's that bad about it. You know, before I got this car, there was actually a lot of things whenever I was looking into like new Edges, and a lot of stuff was saying that they aren't really that good. Interior sucks, they ride like crap, but in my past 4 years of owning it, I mean, yeah, I have wanted to sell it here and there, but that was mainly just because it was like, I was just kind of getting bored with the car or something. I was like, oh, I'll just go buy a new Mustang. But honestly, I mean, every time I try to sell it, I can't bring myself to do it. I have put it on Marketplace like one time and then took it down within like 20 minutes of it. Just because I was getting spammed, a lot of people that was trying to buy it, if they were serious or not, I don't know. But I just personally don't think I could ever get rid of this car. And just in case you've never been really close up to a new Edge, I will give you a decent little walk around of it. So, I mean, I think the back ends, they look really good. Now, a lot of people do a different spoiler than the GT spoiler. But I mean, I kind of like the OEM Plus look. I don't like to be a fake Cobra like everybody else. I feel like there's not many GTs that are still completely stock body. I feel like it's really hard to find something like that nowadays. But obviously, you have the whole entire exterior of the car. And then if you go to the interior of it, now I do have a dark charcoal package, and it's the premium package, so that means I got leather, the sound system and everything. But I still think it's really nice. I mean, the seats, they're really nice for what they are. Could they be better? Yeah, but they're back from the early 2000s, so you can't really complain. I think the design of the dash, it's actually really nice. The only thing that I could really complain about is just how cheap like the panels are and everything. But I mean, that's literally everything from that year. You can see that I actually did a different steering wheel on here. And this actually does improve the whole driving experience of the car a lot. And also I did some different pedals down there, shift knob and everything. A lot of people will put a nice like racing street seat in here, and they'll do a rear seat delete. If you are looking for overall practicality of the car, I don't think it's really that bad. I mean, if I had to daily drive this every single time, would it suck? Yes, a little bit, but is it doable? Yes. Now, obviously I just showed you the interior and you see the exterior of it. Now, it is a little bit low, but say you was like really needing to do something where you need to put in the trunk, I don't think the trunk space is that bad. It's actually a fairly decent sized trunk. I can fit a golf bag in here whenever I go golfing. Now, obviously I do have some subs in there, so it is a little bit harder for me to actually do something. This is the same height as a normal new edge floor. I mean, it's the same exact thing. All it is I just don't have a carpet or I don't have a spare wheel under here. If you are interested in how I made this setup, it's always like my #1 question. I do have a complete video that's up there in the top right corner. I personally do think that it would be a really good buy depending on what your goals are and what you want out of a car. And another thing is that they are extremely easy to work on. Everything is so simple on these cars. So if you do end up liking my car, there's plenty of videos on my channel that you can go check out. And I have plenty of stuff on it, like a build series and everything. But I guess that's pretty much all I'm gonna have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe and comment, like, do all that good stuff. And I guess I'll catch you guys next time.